Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, all right. Thanks for the response. Oh, we're going to cheer already? I haven't even said anything. Isn't MERS great? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm Chris DeRose. I have the privilege of being the Chief Executive Officer of MERS. And on behalf of the board and our staff, many of whom are with us today, I want to welcome you to the 69th annual conference of MERS with the theme, Developing Your Full Retirement Picture. So what color is your flag? Wait, surrender? Is that what that? No, that's not a choice. So we're all on the path to retirement. Any of us in the room who've looked even casually at the literature know that most Americans are not ready for retirement, nor will they be ready for retirement when that time comes. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, but I'm, on any given day, I'm ready to retire. But what we're talking about is financially, right? That's what we're focused on, that most Americans are not ready to retire. So the challenge we think we have is to get a clear picture of where we stand on this road to retirement. And that's what MERS is going to help you do. We need a visual sign of our readiness. Green, yellow, red. If you get a green flag, you're on the path. There's not much you need to do to change. Stay on that track. If you're yellow, well, there's a warning sign there. There's some steps you need to take to be ready. And if it's red, I really got to tell you, I got to be direct. You really need to make some serious changes if you want to be ready. And you don't want to have a change in your sort of standard of living when you retire. So there's three questions that we want to consider. The first is, do you know where you stand on your path to retirement? Do you know what color your flag is? Do you have the whole picture? MERS is implementing a retirement readiness initiative that we think is going to help you. We've spent the last 2 years looking at the data, researching the tools, looking at the research, and getting feedback. In fact, feedback from some in this very room. So we want you to walk away from this talk with to have a much better understanding of why this is so important. Imagine that you're going to leave the conference today and you're going up to the Upper Peninsula for a color tour. It's pretty unlikely that you would leave without checking your gas gauge to make sure that you have enough gas to make the trip. Retirement's the same way. We want to make sure that we have enough money so that, frankly, we don't run out in retirement. Michigan as a state, in a recent study by the National Institute on Retirement Security, scored very poorly vis-a-vis our other states in the nation on retirement readiness. Three particular areas where we didn't score very well: potential future retirement income, major costs in retirement, and older adult labor market. What does that mean? Michiganders, on average, are having more trouble saving for retirement. The costs for health care and housing in Michigan, on average, compared to other states, are higher here. And the unemployment rate for those that are 55 or older, so sort of assuming that part of your plan might be that you want to work in retirement, that unemployment rate is higher. So it means that you would have more difficulty finding a job in retirement. So at MERS, we're focused on what we call the gap. What does that mean? First, we're going to take your projected need, which we define as 80% of your pre-retirement income, kind of an industry standard threshold for what we think you're going to need. We're going to compare that to a monthly projection of how much you're going to get in retirement. So what's your income? And we're going to look at the difference. That's your gap. Now, since many of you in the room work on retirement issues and work in HR, perhaps many of you will have a surplus when we do this calculation. But most Americans, and we think most MERS participants right now, are actually going to have this gap. So the first step in the next several months we'll be rolling out is a snapshot report. So you'll get used to seeing this branding and this icon on these reports. We're going to take the MERS plans that you're in, whether it's defined benefit or defined contribution, whether you have our 457 supplemental savings program or our healthcare savings plan, whatever those things are, the things that we know about that you're enrolled with us on. We're going to add in your monthly estimated Social Security amount at a given age, a given retirement age. We're going to compare that to 80% of your pre-retirement income. And that's the snapshot report that you're going to get. To create these reports, we had our entire staff, we generated them for our entire staff, and then we asked for feedback. And we got a lot of feedback. We got feedback about how can we make these more accessible to our customers. We got feedback about the calculations, but we made them better. Next, we went out to 5 of our municipalities: Marquette Board of Light and Power, Saginaw 911, Isabella County Road Commission, City of Hudsonville, and Canton Charter Township. And we actually had all, or groups of their employees, look at the snapshot report, look at their situation, and give us feedback. And again, we got a lot of feedback. We made the reports better. So we're getting ready now, based on that feedback, to roll the reports out. Would the folks from these communities who are here, would you mind standing so that we can thank you for your making this better for all of us? Thank you. We really appreciate it. The beauty of the snapshot report is that you don't need to do anything, and your coworkers don't need to do anything. We'll be mailing these to your homes. And no action will be necessary, although, particularly if you're yellow or you're red, we're going to have some suggestions in there. General suggestions about things you can do to improve your retirement readiness status. Things like if you could save just a little bit more, it would make a huge difference. Things like we may have 62 as your retirement age, but you already know that you're going to retire at 65. That can make a pretty significant difference in the calculation. So it'll include those suggestions for you at a high level. The most important thing we think, and we feel like we have an obligation, is to get this into your hands and get all of you and all of your coworkers and all of the MERS participants focused on this issue. But the snapshot report is kind of broad brush. It is based on some information that we have and some estimates about Social Security and a guess about when you're going to retire. But you have details that we don't have. And if you were to add in those additional details, it will clearly provide a more complete picture. It actually may provide a better picture. So let me direct your attention to this board over here. In the spirit of Art Prize, we have engaged an artist to give you a sense for what it would be like if you take that broad brush report and you add in some details. James? Thank you, James. Okay, how soon did you get it? I saw this gentleman over here. He's over here like this, about halfway through. You had it figured out. So what's the idea? The idea is that we're going to give you a snapshot report, but there's a fair amount of detail. So your snapshot report would have that red flag on it. But you have a fair amount of detail that if you could go online, add that in, create a report for yourself, that that flag may change, or you may have a clear picture of where you're going. So we're going to have these online tools for you to be available once you receive your snapshot report. I was one of the MERS staff that got a snapshot report several months ago, and I had a red flag. And I thought, well, isn't this interesting? And I ran down the hall to our marketing folks, and I said, this is great. No, it's not bad. It's great. No, this is good. We'll do these vignettes about how I take these steps and how I get ready for retirement. They looked at me and they said, no. The CEO of MERS really needs to be ready for retirement. You really do need to model the way here, Chris. So I said, okay, fine, I'll go back, I'll use the tool. So anyway, as many of you know, I've been with the organization 3 years, and there's a fair amount that these tools and the database wouldn't know about. I've had several jobs. Some people say I can't keep a job, but I've had several jobs, and so, retirement savings that go along with those. And so I entered all of that in, and the picture got a lot better. So I'm relatively confident. And my wife's sitting over here. I'm relatively confident, honey, we're okay. So the idea is once you get the snapshot report that you'll go online, you will enter in the information that we don't have. You'll use what we call the full picture, create a full picture through this report builder that we have. It'll be pre-populated with the information that we have already that we use for the snapshot report. You will actually take the steps to generate the better picture that you can use. And at that point, it may still result in a gap, but it may actually result in a surplus, or it may move you up closer to being ready for retirement. But if not, we'll be there to make specific suggestions about how you can get ready for retirement. But you will have the complete and honest full picture. If we go back to the metaphor of the trip up to the UP, you'll have a sense of how that gas gauge actually reads. Now, those of you that are from the employer side in the room, you're going to be key to this. MERS will lead. We feel an obligation to help people get ready for retirement, so we will lead. But we are going to need you. We will do the education. We will facilitate the sessions. We have the tools. We'll put out the reports. But we need you to help, get those conversations started in your workplaces. Invite us in so that we can help your employees get more prepared for retirement. One of the unique things I think about this program is that you're going to have a sense. We're not going to share private information from each of the individual participants, but at a high level, you're going to have a sense for how ready your divisions are as groups on the path to retirement readiness. So you'll have a sense for whether a really significant intervention is necessary or not. After lunch today, Megan Johnson will be here, and she'll be talking to us about communicating with the various generations. The things that we're going to learn from her today at lunchtime are going to be very helpful to us as we have these conversations in our workplaces. It's a very different conversation, we believe, when you're talking to a 30-year-old versus a 50-year-old or a 65-year-old, and so Megan will be helping us with that. So, more than anything, we want you to know that MERS has got a program that will support you and your employees and all of you individually in deciding whether and getting ready for retirement. Snapshot report, full picture report builder, tools to help you make decisions, and education all along the way. So we hope that you all will partner with us and spread the word. With that, let me again welcome you to the 69th Annual Conference Developing the Full Retirement Picture. Over the next day and a half, we're going to be talking about the exciting topics of UAL, unfunded accrued liability. It's very important, but it's not that exciting. So whether it's pension or health care, we're going to be talking a lot about it. and talking about how we partner with you to help you address those issues. We'll be talking at a much deeper level about retirement readiness that I've spent some time on today. We'll have, as you'll see on your cards on your tables, we'll have our GASB gurus for those of you that need more information, help, assistance with these changes that the Governmental Accounting Standards Board have made on our financial statements, on all of our financial statements. We're here to help you with that. We'll have the great talk by Megan Johnson. Throughout the sessions, feel free to chase down our staff or me, board members, tell us not only how we're doing, but how we can help. Tonight at the Mix and Mingle event and at the dinner, you'll have an opportunity to interact with board members, staff, but also prospective board members who are in the room. Tomorrow, we're going to have a board election. We have 2 open seats, two candidates for each, at least so far. And so you'll get a chance to interact with those folks as well. Tomorrow we'll have a business meeting where we'll have the board election that I was talking about, but also we'll talk about the status of MERS as an organization, how we're doing on investments, and a little bit on our actuarial status. So I think it'll be a valuable meeting. We're going to finish out the conference tomorrow late in the morning for those particularly that have defined benefit programs at your municipalities with a panel discussion on what's called an experience study, which are changes that have been made in our actuarial assumptions that will impact your programs financially and your funded status. So I think you'll find that valuable. In between all that activity, we're right here in the heart of Grand Rapids, in the heart of Art Prize. There are 160 venues. There are 1,500 works of art for you to go see. So on refreshment breaks and when you have 5 minutes, just kind of run around and check the boxes on all of those. But do try to find some free time to enjoy Art Prize. With that, we'll move to a refreshment break and then on to the other sessions. Thank you very much for being here.